You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
We are NerdLanta.
You are now listening to the NerdLanta podcast. Episodes are available on all podcast apps and on the ESO Network. Please visit us online at nerdlanta.com for more info.
All right, welcome to another episode of NerdLanta. I am so excited to be here today. I am your host, Julie Marateck, and we also have producer Chris with us. Say hi, Chris.
Hey, what's going on?
I know many of you are also used to my wonderful, amazing co-host, Matthew English, but he is unable to be here tonight. So we are thinking of you, Matthew. Matthew has a couple, some family things going on, and so we just want to send Matthew lots and lots and lots of love and just tell him that we miss him. But I will be taking the reins tonight with the interview. So for those of you that like Matthew more than me, I apologize. You're stuck with me tonight. But we're super pumped. We have a great show. We are here with literally one of my favorite bands, not just in Atlanta, but all around the country. We're here with the two leads of Yacht Rock, Nick and Pete. How are you guys doing?
Smoother than ever.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you all on. I've been such a fan of Yacht Rock since the beginning. My best friend lived in a house near Little Five, and I think you all had the house next door. And this was like a decade ago. And I've always been such a fan of Yacht Rock. I don't know, Nick, I don't know if you put two and two together that I'm the one that reached out to you with those CNN questions.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So yeah. You can edit this part out, Chris, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you being a part of that CNN article that I wrote on COVID, which we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a bit and how that's affected you all. But we are going to kick off tonight with our regular set of nerd news.
Nerd news, nerd news, it's nerd news time. Excellent.
And I guess we're going to go ahead and start off with, this is, pretty big news. Elon Musk demonstrated his startup Neuralink's technology to build a digital link between brains and computers with a device that will surgically be implanted into the skull of a pig. So they demonstrated on a pig. They inserted a microchip into the pig. So this is soon to be a reality, implanting microchips into our heads. And here with this story, we actually have Elon Musk on the phone right now. Elon, can you tell us more about this?
Oh, thank you so much, Christopher. I wanted to explain a couple of things. That first of all, it's not just about the chip in the pig. Of course, I put a chip in one pig, and tomorrow, perhaps, we put a chip in a second pig, and then I think maybe next week, probably people.
Okay, interesting. So how did this all come about? This idea of inserting microchips into people. What is the reason for it?
Christopher, you have to understand the brain has been relatively the same for millions of years now. And long has mankind thought about having a new brain. And through machines, we can have a better brain. I can fix many neurological disorders. I can order McDonald's on Uber Eats without using the telephone. The one I have likes to write nice little songs about my wife.
Nice. Tell us about your wife. How is she doing?
She is sometimes frustrated with me. First it was the microchips in the pigs. I told her I was voting for Kanye West. She is very frustrated at me. She says, Elon, you are a grown man and a father. I need you to not argue with 14-year-olds on Twitter. I need you to finish the Cybertruck you promised.
Right.
It's been
tough. A lot of
responsibility.
You have a lot of responsibilities now, and you have a son now as well. His name is what? X5237-4.
That's correct. It's pronounced.
Okay.
It was my grandfather's middle name.
And how is he?
My grandfather, he is long dead.
Oh no, your son.
Oh, not dead.
Are you going to put a microchip in your kid?
I would think he would be the first kid. I would think. I want my child to have things that other children can't have.
Like what?
I would think see-through walls. Maybe good at checkers. Probably good taste in music, I would think. Maybe he drive a Tesla at 11, 12.
Be a young Tesla driver.
What you have to understand, the Tesla practically drives itself. So a baby behind the wheel of the Tesla is really more like a Tesla behind the wheel of the baby.
Would you have wanted to have an implant in you when you were young?
I would have wanted an implant when I was young, but there was no Elon Musk to give it to me, and only Elon may give the implants.
That
All right.
makes sense.
Well, going back, to go back really quick to the microchip implanting those into brains. All right. So we understand this is going to be a reality here pretty soon. Who would be the first person that you would want to try this out on? Perhaps any political figures or celebrities? Anybody in mind that you'd like to put a microchip into their brain to improve the activity of it?
I have actually already been experimenting on several children who are very good at Fortnite. I attempt to make them better at the game. I attempt to get them better grades in school. And, for a small price, their parents let me. It's really more a matter of someone was going to put the AI chips in the boys. And if I do it first, then I reap the glory and take the downfall when it inevitably kills us all.
Okay. All right. I was kind of hoping that maybe you'd focus the energy into something more than just a video game. Maybe,
The thing with U.S. politicians, Christopher, you cannot make them better at what they do. It's not a matter of good or bad. They just need to look like a cool, tough guys. These kids, they play a game of skill and greatness. Very different from politics.
How does it feel to be one of the most wealthy people in America right now? And why use your money for implants?
I'm just like every other guy. I wake up in the morning just like everyone else. And then after that, virtually nothing bad happens to me. No one ever tells me no. And I get to do things other people can't. I put a car in space because I had too many cars on Earth. And I do believe that one day, before the robots kill us all, I will make the robots and they will kill me last.
Very profound, Elon.
Well, Elon, I do thank you for your time. It's pretty great that I'm able to reach out to you, and you're a pretty busy person, so I do appreciate you coming on our little podcast here. I'm very excited about that. And is there anything else that you'd like to close on? Anything else you'd like to leave? Do you have any plugs? You want to plug your Facebook, or I don't know?
I would like to announce my new company. Actually, we're making a new safer AI assisted vape juice. See, the problem with old vape juice was that while it did not contain many of the carcinogens of smoke, it still contained nicotine. Our vape juice contains microchips, which are non-addictive, but they do let me read your mind on a cloud-based platform.
Okay. Well, hey, that's another thing that you've come up with that we definitely need. And with that being said, thank you very much, Elon Musk. And that has been Nerd News. We're going to go ahead and take a quick promo break, and then we'll be right back with our interview with Yacht Rock Review.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
The better that these Marvel films do, the higher the standards are going to be for not just other films in general, but other Marvel films also.
I think it's really hard to end a show with this many fans in a satisfying way.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse.
Playing worldwide on radio 7 days a week and right here on the ESO Network.
I'm Drew Leiter.
And I'm Cletus Jacobs.
And we're here on the station surviving the coronavirus. Since you guys are probably quarantined there down on Earth, we'll let you know we got DC news, comics, television shows we're going to be talking about every week. Come join us every week on the Earth Station DCU podcast here on the ESO Network.
You are now listening to the NerdLanta podcast. Please visit us online at NerdLanta.com for all episodes.
All right, we are back let's chat with one of my favorite bands. I'm so excited to have them on the podcast tonight. I've been trying to get them on for months now, and then COVID hit and everything went cray-cray, but now we're back. Life is not back to normal, but maybe a tiny bit of hope on the horizon. We've got Nick and Pete from Yacht Rock. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Things are still cray-cray, though.
It's been insane. I know it's been insane for you both as well. Talk to me about how life transitioned between normal life and then COVID life with your band.
We were on tour out in California and Arizona and kind of Seattle, Portland, all of that, like as all this was coming together. And, you know, things started to get kind of scary and shut down. And then we woke up one morning, we were supposed to play in San Francisco, and we were just like, okay, we got to cancel the show. This is not happening. And that, like an hour later, the governor of California, you know, shut down all events over 250. So we changed our flights, went to San Francisco airport and flew home. And it was scary. I'm not going to lie. Like it felt like super scary and risky to be in that situation. We came back to Georgia, and it took a few weeks for things to get real here, but we went on lockdown like immediately when we got home. And yes, we did lose Pete. He emailed, I think that his laptop restarted.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What is wrong with us tonight?
I don't know. It's so strange that my setup is actually made for doing this kind of thing. It's really weird that it didn't work. I'm really sorry that it took us so long to get going. That's my fault. If we're going to continue right now, we should just make it about me and you, Julie, until we get Pete back. Just so you're not asking both of us and it keeps being me answering.
I was like, he's being very quiet and shy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were touring, Nick, and everything went crazy, and then you came back. And I know that you also own, you and Pete own Venkman's, which is an amazing venue here in Atlanta. I've been fortunate to do some comedy shows there. I've gone to see you all play there. I've gone to the Beatles night that you do. I love where you get to like make your request by drawing a Beatles song. Venkman's is truly one of my favorite venues in Atlanta. It's I think about sometimes opening up a comedy club in Atlanta, and Venkman's is always like a big inspiration for me. So you all own Venkman's, and then it was sort of like a double hit for you because not only are you a band that's performing live, but you also own a venue that relies on live music and entertainment. So I'm sure you were just, really sideswept.
It was a pretty big shock, like our whole vibe, everything that we do, Yacht Rock and our company, Please Rock and Venkman's, it's all centered around bringing people together and making them happy, which seemed like it was a fairly good form of job security, right? But the one thing that you can't do during a pandemic is bring people together. So both of our businesses like totally shut down. We just opened Venkman's last week for takeout, and we've done a couple of drive-in shows, but we've had to convert the making people happy part to live streaming shows because that's what we can do safely right now.
Absolutely. And you guys have been doing a great job with your live streaming. I've watched plenty of your shows. It looks like you built a great setup for your live online. I call them live, but live/online shows. Did you feel like you would be doing these online shows this long, or were you like, oh, this will probably be like a month, and here we are, 6 months later?
I mean, I'm not claiming to be any kind of Nostradamus. I just read the New York Times, but in early February, I had started doomsday prepping my house for a year. I was ready for a year, in which it feels like it's going to be about a year. So I can't say that I've been surprised by any turn this has taken, except the only thing that surprised me is the hasty attempt to reopen and the federal government. I mean, I knew that they would do a bad job with our current leadership, but the job that they've done exceeded my expectations in terms of how poor it was by many factors. It was just incredible how badly they've done. That surprised me.
Yeah. No, it's been definitely very disappointing, especially here in Georgia, just seeing how things have been run. And honestly, I think it's probably set us back even more down here. You know, I was talking to Kyle before the show, aka Elon Musk. He lives in New York, and he said things there. I mean, nothing's back to normal, but you know, they're not still having as many cases as we have down here.
Yeah, science. Like
science, man.
I'm just all about science. We just produced a bunch of new masks that just say "You're welcome" on the front of them, which is kind of one of our catchphrases anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to put those out in the world.
You can have a Yacht Rock hat, like a little sailor hat, and then a little matching face mask, and then you're good to go for a show. You need to have, for your shows though, you definitely need the little openings for the drinks, I feel like. Right.
Well, you gotta bring your straw. Straws are going to be the new thing. You know, actually, I was talking to a friend of mine who's in kind of like live music promotion on a much larger scale than I am. And he's really bullish on this idea of these new rapid tests that they're working on, because if they can produce the rapid tests for like $5 a piece and that you get your results in 10 minutes, that can just be part of the process of going into a concert. Like concerts could start again if the rapid tests are out there. So my conversation with him today really was kind of like a ray of sunshine. I was like, oh, maybe that could happen.
Yeah, maybe there's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope on the horizon.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some fun stuff, because you are, after all, a very fun band. I know that you and Pete met in like 4th grade, correct? You guys have known each other for most of your life.
We have, yeah. We started a band together in high school before either of us knew how to play any rock and roll instruments. He had taken like a little bit of piano, and I had taken piano, and I was an oboe player. And we were like, we should start a band.
You're like, I need more girls, and I get away from the oboe. It's
so cliche, but that is exactly it. And it worked.
So you left the oboe behind. Good riddance, oboe. And here you are with your own band, your own venue, a new album that's charted the Billboard charts, which is super impressive. I do want to absolutely plug your new album, Hot Dads in Tight Jeans, which I love the title. You know, and I'm gay, but as a gay person, you all are definitely hot. You're definitely hot dads in tight jeans.
We've been accused of having the most self-aware album title of 2020, and I'll take that all day.
So you met Pete, and you guys started this band in high school, and you were in Indiana. What brought you both to Atlanta, and then what was the genesis of creating Yacht Rock, which has really become kind of, you know, you're a band, but you're also kind of a movement.
It's the 10 peso version of this story is that we graduated from IU. We wanted to move somewhere that wasn't Chicago, and we thought if we moved to New York, we'd have to have 7 jobs. And, you know, with a couple of exceptions, most musicians that I know that move to New York don't end up getting to be musicians because it's tough there. So we tried out Atlanta. We thought it'd be for a year, and we're still here. We had a band called YOU that was, you know, kind of locally popular, and we were like one of the like buzz bands or whatever, if there was such a thing in the early 2000s. And it never actually got past like opening for people, and you know, we never got a record deal or anything like that. Had some songs on commercials, but nothing major. And we were all about to start doing different things. Pete was going to move to Colorado, and I was starting law school, and we did the Yacht Rock thing to be funny, and it took off. And then all of a sudden everybody's quitting their jobs and quitting school, and we're buying vans and starting a new thing.
I got a question for you. So I know that Yacht Rock started out as a more or less a cover band. Is that correct?
Correct. I would say that that is still our primary probably function in terms of how most people view us. Yes.
And when did you start recording your own original music?
I think Yacht Rock started in 2007. I think we recorded like an EP in 2010 or 2012, sometime around then. But it was very much like we were trying to be sneaky about it. You know, we didn't really put our full promotion behind it. We didn't put our hearts into it. We were trying to kind of like rewrite Steely Dan and Hall & Oates songs. And the timing wasn't right. We didn't have enough momentum. So this new album that we wrote, we recorded in 19, and it came out in 20, in February of 20. I mean, we were a quarter of the way through the tour supporting the album when everything got shut down.
That's awesome, man. We do have a couple songs that we'd like to play clips of here, and I think the first one is called Step. Can you tell us a little bit about this song and I guess the process behind making it and the inspiration for it?
Yeah, Greg, our bass player, we were all trying to write songs together, and he came to me one day with this idea that was basically just like one chord and this idea of step and step up or step back kind of vibe. And it really struck me as something, step in terms of like our main dance move in yacht rock is the side step. And like the positive energy and the positive message is something that I can get behind, yacht rock aside. So we wrote the song and we recorded it. And it was the first song that when we went into the control room and Ben, our producer, played it, it sounded like us. We were like, oh yeah, that's what we're going to sound like. And then we collaborated with my sister on a pretty rad video for it that I'm extremely proud of.
I just saw that video. Yeah, it's really good. It came out really well.
Your sister made it?
Yeah, my sister has directed several music videos and done all sorts of commercials and stuff.
Oh, cool.
She's done stuff with like Mastodon, and she's done tour visuals for like Cardi B and Lauryn Hill and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, she's rad. So, and she and I have collaborated on several videos through the years. Like her first music video was one for our old band YOU that she and I stop motion animated on a light bright. It took us 6 months, but that was kind of the thing. She was an elementary school teacher at the time, and that was the thing that like turned her towards animation and directing. And she, went back to school, got a second degree, and did all of that. But anyway, she and I have done lots of cool videos over the years.
We're going to go ahead and preview the single Step from off of Hot Dads in Tight Jeans. Here it is.
That song so much. It just like has, I can hear like Steely Dan in there, probably some Hall & Oates, maybe even like a little Michael Jackson. I just, it's such a smooth, as you said on your website, it's as plush as Kenny Loggins' beard.
I'll take that any day. That's high yacht rock praise.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I think it's really cool that you guys started as a cover band and now you've been able to take those sounds and those vibes and, do your own thing with that. It's rare for a cover band to be able to do their own unique music and do their own album, but you guys have successfully done it. I know there was the picture of you all, I think it was in LA with the billboard of your album. This was like right before COVID hit, but I know the album charted on the Billboard music charts. What has that been like for you all?
It was like number 196, but that's charting.
It's charting.
That's on the charts.
It's charting.
I will take it. It was, it was awesome, man. Like there was a Rolling Stone article, and there'd been a couple, and there was an Entertainment Weekly article, and we were getting ready to hire a radio promoter, and we had spent all this money on like, not only the album and the recording and the art and the videos, but, we had a publicist and we had bought all the merch and we had scaled up our light show. Like we were really going for it, and we didn't get a chance to earn all the money back because the tour got cut off. So we got caught in a really tough spot. But I mean, I was still so encouraged. Our fans were so into this music. And even through COVID, like one of the most requested songs on my Thursday night live stream show is our song Bad Tequila. So I still feel a lot of positive energy behind it, even though, we'll probably never know how that really could have gone. If the worst thing that happens to me in a worldwide pandemic is that my record isn't as popular, like I'm a pretty fortunate individual. So I try to maintain that perspective.
Definitely. And you have a lot of future, it's like, this isn't your one album, your one shot at it. You have to keep thinking about like things are going to get better and move forward. What's the secret sauce with your band? There's a bunch of you. So, it's not just you and Pete. I mean, there's several of you, and then sometimes you have some backup vocalists and special guests. What's the secret sauce with your band to kind of keep you all moving and grooving all these years? And it seems like y'all get along really well.
I think that you hit on it with the last thing you said, is that we get along so well, and all of the guys are like genuinely nice guys. We don't have any like buddy who gets in fights or wants to punch the other guy in the face or anything like that. Like we have genuinely good people in our organization, and not just our band, like our crew and our staff at home. Like everybody that works for us is so just rad as a person. It's kind of a prerequisite to being a part of our group.
Yeah, you can tell, you can get that vibe. I mean, when you're on stage, you all are just having so much fun, and that definitely comes through to the audience. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of egos that get in the way. Maybe you would have had a big ego if you stuck with clarinet, but you
right. Yeah. I mean, one cool thing is that this style of music allows everyone to have their moment to shine. Everyone has their solo moments or their highlight moments or their songs that they sing that suit their voice. So that's definitely one aspect of it. Like everybody gets their time. We're like a basketball team that passes a lot.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. You got the sax player, the singers, the drummer, drummer solo. I never thought about that before. That's super cool. Well, let's move on to the next track that we're going to play from your album. It is called Bad Tequila.
When you're feeling defeated and the words let you down, when it feels like it's going round but it's not coming back around, I'll be right here beside you with a secret to make you smile. We can mix it up, we can chill for a little while. When life gives you tequila, life gives you bad tequila. It happens to everyone. You make a margarita, you make a good margarita. Whoa. And we'll have fun tonight. When life gives you tequila, life gives you bad tequila. It happens to everyone. You make a margarita, you make a good margarita. Whoa. And we'll have fun tonight. When life gives you tequila, life gives you bad tequila. It happens to everyone. You make a margarita, you make a good margarita. Whoa. And we'll have fun tonight. Make a margarita, make a good margarita. Hey. Need a margarita, make a good margarita. Hey.
I feel like that should be our anthem for 2020.
Yeah, a lot of people on my show have said that that's their 2020 theme song.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
What you got to do right now.
Yep. We've got a ton of bad tequila, so let's make a margarita.
That's the thing. With enough sugar and fruit, you can even make bad tequila taste good.
That's exactly right. We need like to cover the planet in fruit and bad tequila. Who are some of your favorite, obviously you hearken to the smooth kind of 60s, 70s, early 80s music, Kenny Loggins, Hall & Oates, all those greats, Paul Simon. Who, for you personally, are some of your idols?
I mean, in the genre, the ones that I wasn't super hip to this genre until we started the band. Like, I knew Kenny Loggins and Hall & Oates, but I didn't know about Christopher Cross.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew Steely Dan's first album that was kind of classic rock, but when they got kind of fusion jazzy, I wasn't really my scene. I was more into like Beatles and Pink Floyd, and I really like a lot of more modern-ish stuff like LCD Sound System and Tame Impala. So I kind of find I'm always trying to find like the middle ground between Hall & Oates and Tame Impala. That's kind of my sweet spot. I feel like.
I can hear that in the album though, because you do have a lot of like, there's like a synth sound and there's like some digital effects and things like that you're bringing in there on top of kind of that smooth, you know, yacht rock flavor.
Yeah, I'm always depending on the other guys. Like there are several like hardcore music historians in the band. Our keyboardist Mark Benkuya and our drummer Mark Cobb and Greg Lee and Mark Monkey Boy Donnells. They're all like super into all the deep yacht rock cuts and the style of playing. So I just lean on them for that. They make my job easier. I just have to sing the songs.
Just show up there with your guitar. Now, your personal life, you're married and you have children, correct?
Yes, I have Emmy Lou is 4.5 and Bowie is 1.5.
That's so cute, Bowie. How did you meet your wife?
I met Elliot at the wedding of our drummer, Mark Cobb, when he was she was a friend of Katie, his wife, and I asked her out. But so the thing was, I had this really crappy mustache at the time. And because this was like, I don't know, 2007. So like crappy mustache was definitely the thing. And she would not say yes to going out with me. It took some convincing. Katie had to be like, yeah, he doesn't always have that mustache.
Be like, it's a quick shave. It'll be gone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's a family affair. I'm going to ask a question that a lot of women get asked this question, but I'm going to kind of reverse gender role it and ask you this question. With you being a band of gentlemen, all having, you know, significant others and families and such, how has that been, kind of finding that work-life balance between your families and, you know, being on the road and things of that nature?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge, especially having little kids where you're in and out. Like they can't understand, oh, daddy's going to be gone for 4 days. Now he's home for 2 days. Now he's gone for another 8 days. You know, that's very difficult. And the rhythm of life is difficult to establish when your schedule basically has no consistency. That's been one of the silver linings of the pandemic situation for us, is that I've been home since March. You know, I've gone on one day trip to Cape Cod to play a drive-in last week since March. And so as Bowie's been growing up, I got to be here for his first steps. I got to be here, you know, for a whole summer that otherwise I would have been on the road. So that's been actually really nice.
Yeah, I can imagine that, like, you know, with COVID's kind of caused everybody to pause and enjoy the simple things. But I imagine that is hard. I mean, I think about that a lot too with my comedy. I mean, I'm nowhere, you know, at the echelon of where yacht rock is with touring around the country and, you know, having being out all the time. But, you know, eventually I want to start my own family. And it is a big question too. Like, how do you kind of find that balance between your art and entertainment and then the family aspects of it? And I find that women always get asked that question, but I feel like it's important to bring men into the conversation too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the key element really is having a partner who understands and, you know, who balances you out in all sorts of different ways. And I'm very lucky in that regard.
You got rid of that mustache at the right time.
I did. I made the right choice.
All right, we're going to listen to the next track that we have from your album. Obviously, it's going to sound super awesome and smooth. Let's listen to Big Bang.
Big bang and a beautiful star. A big bang and it blew us apart. We are experiencing explosive as the sun. Weightless and out here on my own. I miss our chemistry back home. You're so far, you landed on Venus, I'm stranded on Mars, staring at the champagne stars and the space between us. A big bang and a beautiful star. A big bang and it blew us apart. We are explosive as the sun. I hope this message makes it through and helps me find a way to you. Come what may, the cosmic distance can keep me away. Fly a light year in a day when we're together. A big bang and a beautiful star. A big bang and it blew us apart. We are explosive as the sun.
That's such a beautiful song. To me, that definitely has a lot of the Beatles in it. Like, if that doesn't sound like some kind of George Harrison ballad, I don't know what does. Do you write all your own songs?
We do. We that one actually is a cool story. We I think you alluded earlier. One of the cool things about our job is that we get to play with a lot of the like original yacht rock guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we've made friends with Matthew Wilder, who wrote the song "Break My Stride," who had a big hit with that song in the '80s. And he also did like the music for Mulan, and he like produced No Doubt's big album. Like, he's just a super cool music guy out in LA. And he sang with us a number of times. And we went out to LA, Peter and I did, for a few days and wrote songs with him. And that's the one that made it on the album. So Peter and Matthew Wilder and I wrote that song.
Oh, cool. That's a beautiful song.
Thank you. Thanks.
Do you have a favorite member? I'm a huge Beatles fan too. Do you have a favorite of the four
man.
of them, or a favorite song or album?
Yeah. I mean, John is my favorite, but I love them all for such different reasons. And my favorite song is probably Dear Prudence from the White Album.
Oh my God, that's my favorite song.
No way.
Yes, that's my favorite song. I think actually, I mean, you would have no recollection of this, but when I came to the Beatles, where you get to draw your requests, I did a Dear Prudence one. I did like The Sun Is Up, The Sky Is Blue. That is so funny. I've never met anybody in my life who that's their favorite Beatles song.
Yeah, I love that song.
We are kindred. I do too. I think it's one of the most underrated. I mean, no Beatles song's truly underrated, but to me, out of the Beatles songs, like, I think it's such an underrated song.
Oh man, it's simple beauty at its best.
It is. That's so funny. That it's such a beautiful song. It's so simple. The melody, the sun is up, the sky is blue. It's beautiful, and so are you. Like, I've always loved that. Cool. We're kindred spirits when it comes to Prudence.
Yeah, Beatle connection. I love that.
Beatle connection all the way. Is there a musician who has since passed away that if I could wave a magic wand and say, if you could meet one musician who's died, who would it be? John Lennon, or would it be somebody else for you?
Oh man, I mean, it would be John Lennon, but there are so many. I would love to talk to Frank Zappa. I feel like that would be a really super interesting conversation,
That would be a fun conversation.
Yeah. And then, I mean, John Lennon wasn't known as like the nicest guy. It'd probably be more fun to talk to George because he was such a spiritual guy and had such a light touch. Like, I think he would be a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Paul fan, but I think in my heart, George is my favorite for those very reasons. He was so thoughtful and intentional, and his music was like that, and his spiritual side. I feel like he would just calm me. Well, let's listen to the final song that we're going to play tonight from your album. Let's go ahead and listen to My Favorite Stardust.
You're Stardust. That's what you told me, anyway.
Awesome sauce. I love that. It just makes me want to like relax and be in a state with legal weed and hang out.
Amen to that.
And listen to the album.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost you a second. I wrote that song actually hiking with my daughter, Emmy Lou, in my backpack. And I would always go, "Ooh," and she'd go, "Ooh." And that's kind of how that song all got started.
That's really cute. So when you have an idea like that, do you go home and just start writing, or does it kind of just sit in your head for a little while?
I'm a very slow writer. Like, my ideas, I guess actually that song kind of came together fairly quickly, but I'm a big like editor. Like, I'll have the main idea and I'll just go over it and over it and over it and over it until I feel like I've got the right combination of words and melody and space,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always think people's processes are interesting. I mean, it's like that with comedy too. Some comics just write new jokes all the time. Other comics will work on crafting one joke for, months. So it's just, I always think it's interesting to see how artists and creatives like to work.
Yeah, it's kind of a scale for me. Usually it tends towards the one joke for months and months and months, but every now and then I'll get one that just comes together super quick.
Mm-hmm. We got about a couple more minutes here. As NerdLanta, obviously, we love being nerdy. And one of our favorite things to talk about is TV shows and 80s movies. I'm a huge fan of the 80s. Actually, I did an 80s comedy and music show at Thankman's, which was so fun. It was probably my favorite show that I've ever produced and hosted in the couple years I've been doing comedy. So I want to hear from you. What 80s movies are some of your absolute faves?
Oh man. I mean, mine are probably like the pretty cliche ones, like Back to the Future and Empire Strikes Back. And the other night, my wife and I just watched Uncle Buck, which was really fun. We hadn't watched that one in a while. Another one we watched recently, and this might be 90, but it was just incredible how bad it was Days of Thunder. Like, I really enjoyed watching Days of Thunder because it was just like an exact shitty rewrite of Top Gun. Like, it was amazing. It was so transparently trying to be Top Gun, but like more over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so bad, it was good. I loved it.
Man, I haven't seen Days of Thunder probably since it came out. I remember going to a gas station and they were giving away free Days of Thunder posters, and I grabbed a free Days of Thunder poster, which I'm sure at the time I thought was super cool. Obviously a big fan of Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and, Gremlins and Goonies and all the cliche kind of best 80s movies. Uncle Buck is really funny though. Like that's such a funny, any of those John Candy or John Hughes movies are hilarious.
Yeah, Uncle Buck's was like legit good. It was fun. We had a good time watching it. It was good.
Yeah, when he shows up at the party with like the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Everybody needs an Uncle Buck.
Yeah, it's amazing. One thing you like watching back on the 80s movies, like attitudes towards sexual assault and women in general are still kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And words that they'll use, like the 80s, I'm sure to you and me and a lot of people listening seem like they weren't that long ago, but it's amazing like how far we've come in terms of that stuff when you just look at what was like acceptable in a PG-13 movie then versus now,
Yeah, it's true. Actually, Molly Ringwald wrote a great piece. If you haven't read it already, that was published in, I can't remember which magazine it was published in, but it was on exactly that. Like how John Hughes is truly one of the best filmmakers of all time and understands teens probably better than any filmmaker ever has. But there are also so many, like now you watch a lot of his films and there's a lot of uncomfortable moments having to do with women and sexual assault that at the time you just laughed over, or race. I mean, like Long Duck Dong, and there's so many things you kind of in the 80s and it just were like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And now you look back and you're like, this did not age well at all. And I, like another one that has not aged well is Ace Ventura, which loved that movie. But if you go back and watch that now, you're like, this is still funny, but there's parts of it that definitely have not aged well. What TV shows are you watching right now? I know we're all obviously in quarantine and have been taking it easy the last 6 months. What are some TV shows that have gotten you through?
I feel like I've watched them all. We've been watching Lovecraft Country, which I really like.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm.
Is a great kind of turn on the head of the H.P. Lovecraft kind of vibe. I love that show so far. I mean, I guess we watched HBO mostly. I'm trying to think of what else. We started watching that NXIVM documentary, which is really fucked up and weird. Of course, like everyone else, we watched Tiger King right when pandemic started, which was perfect.
Yeah, that was like the perfect starter. It was like the appetizer for COVID. And now you're like, oh, we're still here. We're still doing this thing. I know Tiger King doesn't seem like it was 10 million years ago.
It seems like a different lifetime.
Like it was a past life. But we watch all the same shows. Literally, I watched the 3rd episode of Lovecraft Country last night and then watched the first episode of the NXIVM documentary like back to back. And I agree, they're both riveting, but in like completely different ways.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to admit, I've been really comforted by the fact that basketball has been back. I love basketball and getting to watch live sports, especially because the way the NBA is doing it allows you to watch without like a bunch of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I were a big college football fan, I would be feeling really guilty that those kids are taking that risk,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the NBA bubble seems like if you're going to do sports, that's the safest possible scenario.
Yeah. And don't they have like digital people in the stands?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, you kind of like lose yourself in it. And, I found at moments where I'm like watching it like a normal basketball game. And then every now and then you'll flip back and be like, oh, wait, this is really weird. There's nobody there.
Maybe you'll do that for your next shows, just to have digital faces in the audience.
I'll tell you, it would help a lot when I'm doing my live stream shows. Like it took a while to conjure the energy of imagining that someone is there listening, because even though it's hundreds of people watching me on Thursday night, it's just me and my camera in my studio when I'm singing and trying to create the same good vibe and the same positive energy in that scenario is strange.
Yeah, it's like doing online comedy shows. It's so awkward. Think of like doing a Zoom meeting, but you're trying to tell jokes. It's the same thing. It's like you don't hear people laughing. You don't hear. I mean, as a person that does live gigs and such, like I definitely feel that. What's the future of yacht rock right now? I mean, obviously things are still weird. I should say semi-weird. I know Venkman's is now open for takeout. I know that you all have done some really cool parking lot shows where people like drive-in music shows. So what are some of the next steps for Yacht Rock?
We're getting ready to announce some more drive-in stuff, and we're getting ready to announce our own like full band live streaming show that we're going to do.
Cool.
Because we figured out kind of like some COVID safe situations to make all that happen. But I mean, for the most part, we're kind of in a holding pattern. I mean, I think we'll be back. I'm optimistic that by next summer we can be doing lots of outdoor amphitheater type shows. But in the meantime, I've started writing songs for the next album. I've got a few songs underway here at the studio, and gonna hunker down this winter and spend some time with my family.
That sounds nice. That sounds lovely. Maybe you can regrow a mustache.
We'll see. If I don't, I think that would probably get me kicked out faster than anything.
Mm-hmm. Pull out your mustache and your clarinet. Where can folks find you on the socials?
We're Yacht Rock Revue everywhere on the Instagram and the Facebook, and that's our website. That's us.
That's it. You got it, guys. So I've really enjoyed talking with you, Nick. Like I said, I've been a longtime fan of Yacht Rock from way back when, and I love what you all are doing. I love the energy and the spirit that you bring to music and to live entertainment. So it was such a pleasure chatting with you, and I appreciate you being on NerdLanta.
Hey, thanks for having me, Julie. Great talking to you.
You too. Thanks, Nick.
Cheers.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.